Hello, we have more parables today. We are starting in Luke chapter 16. Jesus told his disciples, "There was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. So he called him in and asked him, 'What is this I hear about you? Give an account of your management, because you cannot be my manager any longer.' The manager said to himself, 'What shall I do now? My master is taking away my job. I'm not strong enough to dig, and I'm ashamed to beg. I know what I'll do so that when I lose my job here, people will welcome me into their houses.' So he called in each one of his master's debtors. He asked the first, 'How much do you owe my master?' 800 gallons of olive oil,' he replied. The manager told him, 'Take your bill, sit down quietly, and make it 400. Then he asked the second, 'And how much do you owe?' 1,000 bushels of wheat,' he replied. He told him, 'Take your bill and make it 800. The master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly, for the people of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own kind than are the people of the light." So, that is a long way of Jesus saying something simple. If Christians put as much effort into being honest as sinners put as much effort into being dishonest, then we would be a force to be reckoned with. We need to put effort into being a good person and doing the right things. I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? And if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own? And this is saying that we always need to have heaven in mind when we do anything, because we do take something to heaven, other people. So you should always think about other people, then help them, so that we can all live in eternity together. And he says that it does take wisdom and honesty, which apparently is important for all aspects of life, because when I say that we need to have heaven in mind, I'm saying that we can still do things for the kingdom of heaven now. And so wisdom is as important now as it is in heaven. And making good or bad decisions is a reflection of your faith. Thankfully, grace is a thing, because we all will fall short of being perfect. So thank God for grace. But at the same time, the world usually doesn't have grace, and you won't exactly bring people to Christ by being an idiot or a jerk. There are a lot of people that have left Christianity because some of the people that were at their church were not acting wise. They were rude and just made poor decisions. No one wants to worship alongside those people. So we have to act like Christ would every day. Strive to be a good person every day. Then Jesus repeats a message that he said during the Sermon on the Mount. "No servant can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." The Pharisees, who loved money, heard all this and were sneering at Jesus. He said to them, "You are the ones who justify yourselves in the eyes of men, but God knows your hearts. What is high valued among men is detestable in God's sight." I think that in the context of what he's been saying, we need to know this. Money is an amazing tool, but a terrible master. In a certain sense, it would have been good for the Pharisees to have a lot of money, because they could have built so many outreach services for the poor, the homeless, the widows, etc., etc., but they let the money control them, instead of them controlling the money. And once as you let money control you, then that's how you see other people's worth. We only should deal with money if the Holy Spirit is in our hearts. An empty heart is not going to be kind to others, but a heart with the Holy Spirit is wise. Thank you for listening.